What would you do if the person you trusted the most, your own husband, became your worst fear? This is the chilling story of Laura, a woman trapped in a perfect-looking marriage that hides a deadly secret. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, then please do it. And if you like this video, don't forget to press the like button. On the seashore, Laura Byrne is quietly collecting shells. Her husband, Martin, dressed in a formal suit, approaches to say goodbye before leaving for work. He also reminds her that they're expected at a party that evening. Laura isn't eager to go, but she agrees for her husband's sake. The day passes quickly, and soon Laura and Martin are on their way. Martin compliments her dress, but immediately asks her to change into something else. At the party, the couple does only the bare minimum of socializing, then rush home. The next morning, Martin begins his day with a workout. Laura begins hers with breakfast. His mornings must be flawless. Hers must be carefully planned so that everything is perfectly prepared for him. But today, she makes a small mistake, the height of the hand towels. Martin notices and reprimands her. Laura spends her time lining up jars neatly on the kitchen shelves, polishing dishes until they shine. Martin joins her in the kitchen, asking what she'll cook for dinner. That's when he notices their new neighbor through the window, working on his yacht. Curious, Martin steps outside. The man introduces himself as John Fleischman, a neurologist from Boston who works at the Central Hospital. John compliments Martin's home and Laura, whom he had already seen through the window. Martin responds politely, praising John's yacht, though he laments that Laura doesn't know how to swim. Otherwise, he too would enjoy sailing. John kindly offers the Byrne couple a ride on his yacht that evening, under the full moon. As the weather forecast is perfect, his jealousy erupts. He angrily questions Laura, convinced she must know this young, handsome man. When she denies it, Martin notices she had been watching John through the window. That alone is reason enough for him to slap her. The vase Laura was holding shatters to the floor. She begins to cry, which only fuels his rage. Yet soon, the sight of her tears softens him. He apologizes, asks her to smile, and demands that she not ruin their beautiful evening. He then informs her they'll be taking a ride on John's yacht tonight. Her fear of water must be confronted, not avoided. After Martin leaves for town, Laura shakily picks up the shards of the broken vase. Later, she steps out onto the shore. The waves and breeze calm her nerves, and a plan begins to form. Quietly, she walks along the shoreline and breaks the bulbs in the lanterns, one by one. This way, the outing might be cancelled. When Martin returns, the first thing he asks is whether Laura was alone. He hands her a bouquet of red roses. Without even looking at them, she thanks him. Martin apologizes for the morning and presents her with a gift, a red dress. He insists she put it on immediately. A look of fear crosses Laura's face. She knows what's coming next, but tries to hide her revulsion. Later, Laura asks for permission to work full-time as a librarian. Martin refuses, questioning who would care for the house. He reminds her of the time 6 months ago when she disappeared for 2 days to attend her mother's funeral, and how he had already punished her for it. That evening, the yacht trip takes place anyway. But the weather forecast was wrong. A storm strikes. Laura is terrified. The first buoy is behind them. The shore is still far away. Suddenly, the jib comes loose. Martin tries to secure it but loses balance. John rushes to help. The helm is left unattended, and the yacht sways violently. When the men finally regain control, Laura finds no one. At the funeral, Martin stands for a long time over his wife's empty grave. Her body was never found. But here's the truth. During the storm, Laura seized her moment. She slipped out of the yacht, clung to a buoy, and disappeared into the night. For years, she had secretly taught herself to swim. The broken lamps along the shoreline hid her escape. While Martin searched with rescuers, Laura swam back, returned home, and found her prepared bag waiting. She cut her hair, changed her look, flushed her wedding ring down the toilet, and erased every trace of herself. Then she boarded a bus, leaving Laura Byrne behind forever. On the bus, a stranger offered her an apple and asked where she was headed. She replied that she was going to visit her blind mother at a nursing home. But really, she was talking about herself, about a woman escaping a monster husband. Soon, a billboard welcomed her to Iowa. Relief washed over her. She found a small house to rent under a new name. She cleaned, made minor repairs, bought flowers. No more perfect towels. No more obsessive control. She could finally live freely. Her new neighbor, Ben Woodward, was a drama instructor at the local college. One day, while Laura was picking apples from his tree, he caught her. Jokingly, he threatened to call the police, but Laura panicked and explained nervously. Later, Ben arrived at her door with a pile of apples, insisting they were too good to waste. Slowly, the two grew closer. Meanwhile, Martin remained restless. At work, a woman named Vanessa Shelley called him. She said she knew Laura from the Christian Women's Association, claiming they even went swimming together. Martin was shocked. Laura supposedly didn't know how to swim. Vanessa also mentioned that Laura had bruises she explained as gymnastics injuries. Suddenly, Martin realized the truth. He searched through her belongings earrings and, while at the sink, spotted the flushed wedding ring in the toilet. His suspicion was confirmed. Laura had escaped. That evening, Laura arrived at Ben's house for dinner, bringing a pie she baked. But when Ben casually asked if she was looking for work, she tensed. Small-town gossip spread quickly. Ben noticed a bruise on her neck, one of Martin's old gifts. Laura quickly hid it, but Ben realized she had suffered terribly. When he asked her name again, she finally introduced herself as Sarah Waters. But Martin's hunt continued. He visited the nursing home where Laura's mother once lived. Learning she hadn't died, Laura had taken her out. He spun lies, pretending to be her relative, trying to get information. Meanwhile, Laura started working at a library, thanks to Ben's recommendation. Their bond deepened. At a local festival, Ben spotted Laura in the crowd and rushed to her. He shared about his past, and in return, Laura admitted she had moved here to be closer to her mother. Meanwhile, at the Hill Brown nursing home, Laura's blind mother, Chloe Williams, was humming while knitting, unaware that Martin Byrne was silently watching her. That night, Laura returned home late. A sudden knock startled her, but it was just Ben. He took her to his workplace, a theater stage. Under starry lights and falling snow, Laura laughed as she tried on costumes. On the way home, they shared their first kiss, but Laura panicked, crying and begging him to leave. The next morning, she confessed her past, that she had a husband and feared she could never rebuild her life. Ben reassured her and accepted her with all her fears. Soon after, he helped Laura disguise herself as a man so she could secretly visit her blind mother. At the same time, Martin was prowling the nursing home, lying to staff, and nearly crossing paths with Laura. Later, he tricked Mrs. Williams by pretending to be a police officer, asking when Laura would next call. Terrified, she revealed it would be Sunday. As Martin moved closer with a pillow, a nurse's sudden arrival unknowingly saved her life. That evening, Ben and Laura enjoyed each other's company while Martin watched from a distance, his rage simmering. Back home, Laura noticed strange signs. Overflowing water, towels perfectly hung, jars lined in order. She realized Martin was there. He appeared, pointing a gun. When Ben knocked, Martin forced her to send him away. But Ben sensed danger and broke down the door. A brutal fight broke out. Martin knocked Ben unconscious and dragged Laura close, reminding her of their happy honeymoon. Laura struck back, grabbed the gun, and fired. First, she missed. Martin advanced, certain she would never kill him. But then she pulled the trigger again. This time, the shots landed. Martin collapsed. This time, the bullet struck. She fired again and again. Martin collapsed. In his final moments, he tried to pull the trigger himself, but the gun was empty. Ben regained consciousness and Laura ran to him. For the first time in years, she was safe. Laura Byrne was gone forever, but Sarah Waters was finally free.